Hello everyone, welcome back to Tiresome. My name's Mike and today we're going to be talking about why it is time to say goodbye to the Gold Beamer. So here it is everyone, back where it all started, in exactly the same location, here in the southwest of England, Burrator Reservoir, and this little nook here, which I filmed a couple of cars in, this one and the Lotus M100, my dad's previous M100. But where it all began for this car, and this is going to be the last video on the channel of this car as well, man. I am so sad to see this car go. It's been amazing. I absolutely adore this car. I adore absolutely everything about it. Let's not go in between the lines here. It's the best car on paper that I have ever owned. It's got the most horsepower at 197. I haven't owned many powerful cars, but it's got 197 horsepower. It's got the straight six. It's probably worth the most amount of money out of all the cars I've owned. Even if only £2,000, it's still a modest but nice car for me, at least. This car has not stopped running the entire time that I've owned it. The only significant things to have gone wrong on the cars are just things that, you know, you'd need to replace the ball joints, of course, which you guys saw the video of. Bolt. The locks, the kind of key fob. In fact, I'll grab it. I can't remember if I ever told you guys this, actually. Oh, it's in my pocket, apparently. Oh, delve in. But it's actually got a real, no it's not, it's like one of those cheap rip-off Ferrari key fobs, but it does unlock, lock, and, you know, operates as from the factory one should. But it was just because the original keys, they were just gone tatty. I do still have both the original keys, and indeed you do have to use one to put in the ignition and start the car, but when it comes to unlocking the car, you can still do it remotely just with that fob. So, you know, there are little things like that, but to be honest with you, the air conditioning works, all the parking sensors work, automatic wipers work, cruise control works, and this car's from 2001. There's so many other cars that are more modern than that. They still make cars today, now, brand new, that don't have those things on them, those features. And this car has them all, and they all still work. I am so over the moon with this car, and that is why I am going to be so sorry to see it go. This car, not only this car, but the E46 generation, the six-cylinder sort of last generation of the less electronical, more manual BMWs, you know, they are, well, they're gone now, but they are on the up as collector's items. At the moment, it's sort of in a bit of a middle of a rift. You know, like, they're not necessarily collectors yet. There's still too many of them to be classed as like maybe a collector's car, but the thing is that they don't make them anymore, man. And people are writing these things off left, right and centre, whether it be down to rust or, you know, maybe they've done something, you know, a bit shit when they're driving or whatever it might be. But there are less of them on the roads now than there were last year, and that will keep going. And these cars are going to go up. This car in particular, in this colour, with the sort of matching interior, whether you like it or not, makes it a very rare combination. And that means that this car in particular, especially being the 2.5, which was the biggest compact engine they made, is going to be really desirable. Mark my absolute words, this car is going to be worth more in future if we can keep it in this condition. I had a choice to make, basically. It was either this or the Scimitar in my eyes. And to be honest with you, the Scimitar's absolutely never going anywhere. I just love that car so much, as you guys know. And even though this car is more reliable, more modern, has more features, is faster, it's actually better in almost every single way. It's just not me, man. It's not me. It's not my vibe. It's electrical. It's got, you know, ECUs and things like that that can go wrong. Whereas the Scimitar, it's a flathead screwdriver and you're tuning it by ear, and that is just much more who I am. There's something that really, I don't suffer with anxiety really, but when I drive a car like this and it stops working, I'm like, oh God, like what box of wizardry could be stopping it from working? If the Scimitar stops working, I'm like, right, let's just get it back running again. Like, it's obviously something rather simple. It's either spark, compression, or air. I forgot the main element there. So yeah, as long as you've got those three things, you're going to have a running scimitar. Whereas with this, there's so many electrical things, man. And not that it's showing any signs of them not working anymore. And as I said at the beginning of the video, it's not like any of those things have stopped working. But those are things that that do that make me, that kind of not keep me awake at night, but when I do a long journey in it, I'm like, actually, I feel like and I don't even have AA cover. I really should. I may get it in future, but like, if this was to break down on a long journey, I would have next to no idea where to even start diagnosing, how to getting it back on the run again. I would have no idea. Flat out, none. I don't think. Basics, maybe. Maybe I'd look at a fuse box here and there, but really, I've actually, even though the scimitar being so much older is so much more simple, and I just know my way around that car so much better, that it feels like home, driving and working on that car, and that means a lot to me. In the future, hopefully the scimitar is going to be a car that is not only as reliable as possible, but also it's going to be, you know, somewhat more hopefully sporty. We're going to get some things done to it too, and more pleasurable to drive. And because of the changes that we make to it over the times coming, it's going to be more economical as well, and more pleasurable to drive on a longer journey, and it's just going to be a better place all round. And this car is I just can't justify having both. If I keep both on the road, as I have done for the past couple of months, the fact of the matter is, I don't drive one or the other. You know, I can't drive both at the same time. This one costs about 30 quid a month on MOT. Sorry, 30 quid a month on MOT. 30 quid a month on tax, 30 quid a month on insurance. Whereas the scimitar is tax exempt, and it's about the same on the insurance. But it's I'm saving 60 quid a month by not having this car on the road as well, you know? It just doesn't make sense to me to have both cars on the road, especially when the scimitar is such a turnkey car now. Now then, let's talk about economics, because this car, where it really, really excels for me, is on the run, on the journeys. You've got the cruise control, man. Cruise control is one of those things that I got in an older car, or a car before this, should I say, and I just I hate the thought of doing a long journey without it now, to be honest. I love a bit of cruise control, basic cruise control, not radar guided, lane changing, automatic slow down, brake here cruise control. Just basic, hold the speed and keep your eyes on the road, keep your hands on the wheel. That I like. And this car has it, and it works so good, and it means that I could just crunch miles in this car. I feel like I could drive to Scotland right now and just not even be fatigued when I got there, you know? But that being said, the scimitar does not. So that's an issue-ish. But to be honest with you, it's sort of like a price you pay for, you know, just having a classic car like that, you know? The other thing is, this will do about 40 miles to the gallon on the run, which isn't that bad when you consider it's a 200 horsepower straight six engine. But the scimitar should do about 30, I think, on the run, according to the factory. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do to make that a little bit better, but to be honest with you, 30 is going to be around the ballpark. But more importantly, if I am doing a long journey that is specifically just, you know, to get to A to B, and it's not like a road trip or something where I want to drive the scimitar, I can always borrow one of my dad's cars, because he's got cheap as chips bloody Ford C-Max that's got a diesel in the front of it, and it costs 50 quid to get to anywhere in the country. So if I wanted to, I can always borrow that in, as long as I let him know in advance, and that's cheaper than both these cars anyway, so it doesn't really make too much difference to me. That is the best thing about it. I will say the worst thing about this car for me is the clutch, and actually it's not this car at all. It's not this car. It's not a fault with the car. It's not a problem with this car. It's me. It's not you, it's me. And that means that because it's got the dual mass flywheel with the clutch with that so soft and sprung, and I think there's some sort of clutch delay cylinder in this as well to sort of reduce the impact if you were to just let the clutch out and do things that maybe someone who doesn't know how to drive properly drives it. It kind of absorbs that and makes up for it and gives them a bit of a barrier. But for me, in the cars I drive, I like to just release the clutch and the clutch gets released. Call me stupid. However, the reason why I say it's my issue is because I should be able to learn, adapt, and just start driving the car how it should be driven, right? And learn how to drive it. Everyone else, I'm sure, in the world has. I don't have that power. I will hold my hands up and say that the one thing that I can't do is compensate for when a car, it's so, I can't even begin to fathom how to describe to you how it feels for me when I drive a modern or more modern car like this. It's like you're at the lights, say, and you build your gas up, and then you release your clutch to go, and the revs dip below what the clutch is. Like the clutch is absorbing that power and you're gonna tank. So then you either have to release the clutch more to let it just go, or you build the revs up. But if you build the revs up, then all you're doing is slipping the clutch, which is great because you get, I guess, a smoother pull-off, question mark. But I'm just not ready to counteract that variability, you know? For me, I just want the clutch to let go when I let go of the clutch. And my Mini, my Ford Capri, my Scimitar, now it's manual, the Lotus Elise, my dad's car, the Riley 472, the Volkswagen Polo I used to drive, well, before while the Scimitar was off the road, I got an old Polo. I actually really quite like that car. But that I could drive and it was absolutely fine. But some cars, this and the Passat namely, I test drove a Nissan Pathfinder once and that felt the same too. But I tell you what, those clutches, man, I don't know what it is about them, but I can't learn how to drive them. And it means that small maneuvers, like just pulling away from the traffic lights, most of the time is fine, to be fair. And sometimes I actually nail it and can pull away absolutely fine. But quite a lot of the time you're a bit juddery. And of course, when you're parking, like reverse parking, going into reverse, even just coming into this bit here, because the road's behind me there. So I had to pull off the road and just come in here, nose it in, and then reverse up there. And yeah, it was just like, it would have stalled if I didn't push the clutch back in and then release it again. Whereas I wouldn't have needed to make that save if I could kind of compensate for that. I don't know. Leave it in the comments, please, if you relate to this at all, because I want to know if I'm the only one in the fucking world who can't do it or not. I've got no idea. Either way, moving on. 6 cylinders, eh? So that's the negative stuff, I guess you could say. The clutch mainly is just the worst. That and my lack of knowledge on how to fix a modern car. So really, both those things that are wrong with this car are just problems with me as a human. I am gonna miss this bad boy here. The sunroof, opening both windows, the sunroof, going on lovely days out like today with my gorgeous partner Kate, and just with you know, some really nice positive music on, and just flying through, dropping cogs and just ripping, and it's the most gorgeous experience ever. I'm not going to say it's like obviously like a convertible or anything like that, but it's just good. It's a +1, man. And then in the winter months you close the roof, you close the sort of blind if you like, and it could be a hard top. It really doesn't matter. It is gorgeous. I love this whole situation here. Not only that, but of course the air conditioning works, which is always good. So even if it is sort of humid and muggy outside, but still hot, you can just whack the windows up, put the AC on, and it's nice and fresh. I have had so many good memories with this car, man. Going around Cornwall with Jay. Can't see out my window. Fuck's sake! Fucking lollipop! Fucking car! For the channel, of course, for his channel, and recording some content. And it was a gorgeous sort of time just to be sort of working together on a video, driving cars that we liked around. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't quite what we had hoped, but the car performed absolutely amazing. And it was great, and I slept in it, man. I slept in it, and it was actually genuinely fine. Enough space for a big boy like me, eh? The thing that really captures me about this car, apart from the aforementioned, that it really is a proper Swiss Army knife. Like, this could be actually quite a nice track day weapon. Sure, you're not going to set any lap records or anything, but it would be a really nice, engaging experience. If it's stormy outside, don't worry, it's still a car, man. If you're driving to work in the rain, in the ice even, it's fine, it's okay. You've got traction control, you've got airbags. It's just a car, it's good. If it's a really sunny day, like it is today, you've got the sunroof open, you've got the windows down, and it's a gorgeous sports car in lovely weather, like it is right now. And if it's, you know, calm, you're just going into town, you just drive it normally, you know, drive it sub 3,000 revs around the city centre, and no one needs to know that actually this car's got quite a bit of poke. That 6-cylinder with Vanos and, you know, the fact it's a 2.5, a bit over the 2, it's just so smooth. The linear power band, and the thing is, it goes all the way up to 6 grand, and it just keeps adding power as it goes. It's such a gorgeous power band that even though it's not pushing you back in the seat, it's not ripping it, it's not breaking the tyres loose and everything like that, it's just so smooth, and it makes such an enjoyable driving experience. That's really the key to this, and I absolutely adore it for that. So let's get one thing straight, all right? I'm selling the more reliable, more powerful, better equipped car for my Scimitar, which at this point is literally a wheelie bin on a chassis. I'm making some really bad life choices here, mark my words. But that being said, I'm putting the money from this into the car that I know, I love, and I'm keeping forever, and hopefully, actually, I mean, it's a turnkey car right now, and I can drive it to and from work. I know it can do that reliably. Now the key is making it a nice place to be, finishing off that bit, maybe even put some paint on it. The Scimitar with some paint would be amazing. But this car is going. Please, everyone, join me in saying goodbye to the gold Beamer. It has been so good. I'm going to miss this car. It's going to go up in value, and this is going to be one of those cars that I will eternally regret selling, but needs must. Goodbye, old friend. It's been nice knowing you. It's been nice knowing you too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, will you? And there she goes.